Chadwick Boseman, the guy who played Black Panther, and of course he played James Brown and some other huge characters. He passed away a couple of years ago, right? He was a graduate of T.L. Hanna High School, which is in the upstate of South Carolina in Anderson, and he was part of their debate team at T.L. Hanna High School, of course, the drama team, that kind of thing. They have decided that they are going to name their fine arts center after Chadwick.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
I do too. And as I've kind of looked into him because of where he's from and just that movie. I love that movie, Black Panther, and some of the other characters that he's played, Jackie Robinson along the way. I found out he was baptized at Welfare Baptist Church in Anderson. This is quite a few years ago. And as I've kind of looked into his life a little bit, how often he talked about his faith and how much faith was such a huge part of his life.
I admire that about anybody in their life, including Chad.
Right.
Because you can share your love for Jesus in such a unique way, in the way that God has created you. And Chad would do that,
Yeah, and the platform that he was given, millions saw this movie. Millions followed, his life. He was at an award ceremony, I think it was for Denzel Washington, and he cited Ephesians 3:20, may God bless you exceedingly and abundantly more than what's in store than he ever has before. And so he was saying, Denzel, you have done so much in your life, but God has even more to pour out on your life, more than you can possibly imagine. And just that in that platform, in that space, he was sharing scripture. Says a lot about who he was.
So when did they unveil the name of that fine arts theater for him?
I don't know. I think they've already done it, but they voted to do it I think it was last week.
Good.
They voted to do it, so I don't know if it's actually happened.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I was doing some spring cleaning over the weekend, and yesterday I opened this box, and inside was the pregnancy test that my daughter took to tell us that she was going to be a mama. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. I'd forgotten it was there.
Congratulations.
No, it's old. It's from 3 years ago.
Yeah, still, though, to have that kind of memory, that's so cool.
That's exactly so. But I ran across it yesterday and forgotten about it.
Yeah, so what'd you guys do? You'd call her? You talk about it? I mean, what?
No, I haven't even texted her to tell her I found it yet. I just put it back in the little memory box.
Well,
I know.
You should have had a conversation.
I should have, and I'm probably going to, but yeah.
Well, that's great.
But it was a nice memory for me to run across something I didn't know was there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
When are you going to talk to her about it?
Probably this afternoon.
Okay, good.
Because she's about to go to sleep because she worked to 12.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She's a nurse, so she has those long hours.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
If I were to ask you what color honey is, because I am colorblind, honestly, what would you say? It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. What is the color of honey?
Kind of like golden, almost like a golden brown or an amber color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Golden brown, amber color. In the Sandhills of North Carolina, this is the only place that honey turns out the color purple.
Yeah. And from what I understand, it kind of tastes like grapes in a way. And then I was kind of looking into it because I'm like, purple honey, only place. It may come from kudzu. Like the bees, go to the kudzu and then they make the honey. And
really?
I'm like, well, finally we found something that kudzu can do right.
Hey, I didn't know if you know it, but you can make jelly from kudzu. Not sure how you make it, but I have heard of kudzu jelly.
Okay.
What? I wonder what that tastes like. I mean, is it...
Well, if the honey tastes like grape, maybe the jelly tastes like grape.
Or maybe it's like a placebo effect almost where you see it's purple and you're like, well, it must taste like grapes. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I've put stuff in my mouth and I thought that was sour cream. It turned out to be mayonnaise.
Otis texted. And Otis said on the subject of honey, if you can get strawberry honey at a place called Hunter's Strawberry Farm, and it's pink. He said they have a beekeeper that comes in to pollinate the crops.
I
So that's
guess
kinda cool.
honey could be all these different colors.
I
I
had
just think
no-
the traditional, I'm colorblind, but it's brown, golden, something.
Kind of amberish colored. Yeah,
Okay.
exact caramelly colored.
So we get this open mic in from the My HISRadio app.
Hey, Rob and Liz. I just wanted to chime in and say it is kudzu blossom jelly. My sister-in-law used to make it. It's very good. The blossoms are anywhere from a lavender to a dark purple, and it does smell like grapes when they bloom. We have lots of kudzu here up in the upper region of Pickens County, and it's very good.
That sounds tremendous.
It really does. It's at least interesting. And, growing up, I remember my dad, he would see a big, patch of kudzu and he'd be like, nah, it's good for nothing. Well, evidently, it's good for honey.
Guess you can eat it.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Okay, if you go overseas, sometimes you can't find some ingredients that you absolutely love. So I'm reading this on social, and there's somebody that posted, if you like ranch dressing, you're not going to find it in places like Ireland. And so this person's friend had gone to Ireland, had actually moved there, came home to visit some family in the States, and ended up taking back like a jug of ranch dressing, so they always had it.
For real?
Yeah, I'm like, Amazon, they deliver anywhere.
Anywhere?
I mean, pretty much.
That would probably take a few days.
I mean, but
A
still,
week or so.
better than trying to check your gallon of
That makes
ranch
sense
dressing.
because that's an American thing, ranch dressing.
Yeah, I guess.
Right?
But I wouldn't have thought about it beforehand. Now that it's brought to attention, I'm like, that makes total sense. Something else they couldn't get was cottage cheese. I'm like, okay,
I get that too.
I can live the rest of my life without
You
it. It's all right.
probably can't get chicken wings or anything like that in some places around the globe.
Maybe they call them drumettes or something like
They
that.
call what?
Drumettes.
Drumettes?
Maybe. I don't know.
That sounds
That
right
sounds
to
a very
me.
English word.
I was hearing Ninja saying that Dusty went to the UK, and what did he have to make for himself in the UK?
He had to make sweet tea because this tea is a normal thing every single day and for community. And so he decided, he stayed at a host home with a family. He made sweet tea for them and they were mind blown. They're
Did they
"What
like
in
it?
the world?"
They like-
It was, they're not used to that type of sweetness over there.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
were like, whoa, that's really sweet.
Yeah, there's American sweet, and then there's the rest of the world sweet.
Well, there is the South Suite.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
even Scott can testify to that.
Yeah, I feel like I was out of the country. I went to the northeast corner of North Carolina once, tried to get sweet tea, and they did not know what sweet tea was. They said, "Can we bring you a pack of sugar?" And I said, "No, it's totally different." So I felt like I was in a different country, yet I was still here.
Was this
in
like
country.
the Outer Banks? Where were you?
Kinda, yeah, kind of in that Outer Banks area.
And they didn't have sweet tea?
Well, listen,
And
that's
they didn't know sweet tea. Can you
Outer-
believe it? I was shocked. I really was.
Depending upon where you are in the Outer Banks, there's parts of the Outer Banks that are really close to Virginia.
Virginia doesn't have sweet tea?
No,
What?
no. The sweet tea is only a South thing. It's not an
No,
American
I
thing.
knew it was only a South thing because my mom's family is from Ohio. You don't get sweet tea there.
We got a call from Dave about sweet tea. What's up here, Dave?
Well, listen, I was talking to this girl from Boston one time and telling her, I said, well, you guys don't even have sweet tea up there. And she says, of course we have sweet tea. McDonald's invented it. I said, what? So apparently McDonald's has taken sweet tea out of the South to other parts of the country. I just wanted you to know that.
Did you end up dating her, Dave?
No, I did not. Sorry.
I get it.
So get that.
Diane, okay, so she heard Scott talking about going to some part of North Carolina and not being able to find sweet tea, that like they acted like they didn't know what it was. So Diane texted and said, okay, what is wrong, North Carolina? No sweet tea. When I used to make it, I used 2 cups of sugar. The next day, I added a little water to it because it got so concentrated after it sat out, overnight in the fridge. That's some thick tea.
Right?
Wow.
I grew up in Virginia Beach, and I was able to get fresh brewed sweet tea from any restaurant or anyone's house I went to. They always had a picture of fresh brewed sweet tea. But up north, when I would visit my grandma in Michigan, if I asked for sweet tea, they always came out with the can. So I didn't really understand that as a kid, but I do know Virginia Beach does have fresh brewed sweet tea.
That's a shocker that tea is in a can for Ninja.
Yeah.
You've
It
never
seems like more of a soda thing.
It does, right? You're right. But there is a couple of brands that do sell sweet tea in a can.
I think Lipton has one, but yeah, the bottles are I think better.
And then
I think.
Snapple is in a bottle.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in a can.
I don't think so.
I
Not
don't-
that I know of.
I don't think so either. Here's Jim at 800-447-7234. Hey, Jim.
Calling about y'all talking about the sweet tea down in Orlando area, and we were staying in Kissimmee, and my daughter ordered sweet tea at the restaurant. The waiter looked at her and said, "Sweetheart, this isn't the South. We don't have sweet tea." And my daughter looked at the waiter and said, "For starters, I'm not your sweetheart." And in our history class, we learned that Florida is in the South.
I know, so funny. Being a guy from Central Florida, I can tell you most of the people from Central Florida come from either overseas or Michigan, Ohio, New Jersey, and New York. And so it's like you're living in the North. And so there's no sweet tea in Central Florida. You can barely find it anywhere.
So we found that out, and we also discovered that Florida isn't in the South.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
So Justin has a service animal, and he's a juggler at the same time, so good that his service animal and his juggling have a YouTube channel. So Justin brings his service animal everywhere, puts it up on YouTube, the adventures that they have together, the places that they visit. They went to Buc-ee's not too long ago in Tennessee. I know there's thousands of Buc-ee's now going up everywhere.
That's the biggest one.
But if it's the one I'm thinking of, that's the new one, possibly. I don't know if this is the same one. I don't know how many Buc-ee's are in Tennessee, but there is a big one that's off of I-40 near Knoxville, right?
Yeah.
So he went to one of these Buc-ee's in Tennessee, and he brought his service animal, caused quite the ruckus on the inside because, you know, he's doing his whole YouTube thing.
Oh,
you know?
inside the store?
Inside the
yeah.
store, and people are like, oh, we love your service animal. The service animal is a duck.
Oh, okay.
And so he brings the duck inside. The duck has a leash. Sometimes it's off the leash. And, you know, people are really gravitated to the duck. The duck even had its own little stroller.
Like a baby carrier.
And so people are stopping and, you know, he's causing a line. And the store was nice. And they said, could you please, you know, we've got a lot of people in here. And if you've ever been in a Buc-ee's, I don't care what time of day or night it is, it's slam busy. Really slam busy. So they asked, could you please just, you know, take it outside?
So it's okay.
Now.
Yeah. Service animal, I get being a duck, it's a little different, but if it's classified as a service animal, why can't he take it in?
Well, you know, I don't know. It caused a big ruckus, so the police were called. And now Justin, who has this YouTube channel, has got over 2 million people who see this stuff, is banned from Buc-ee's for life. Not just the Tennessee one, but all Buc-ee's for life. Can't go in them anymore.
Why? He left.
He was asked to leave, but stayed in the store. If I'm reading this correctly, stayed in the store, you know, took his time to get out.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, the police had to be called and they had to ask him. And then the police, after they gave him the whole, you know, trespass warrant, can't go to any Buc-ee's right now. Can we get some selfies?
So the cops wanted selfies with the duck. And he can't go back like any. So if he goes to, let's say there's a Buc-ee's eventually, maybe in California, Southern California, cannot go in.
No.
So do they have his picture with the duck?
It'll be easy to recognize the guy. He goes in with a duck.
I know, but still. I mean, does word get from here to there to watch out for this guy with the duck? Oh, by the way, he's juggling.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
It looks like there's a brand new trend when it comes to food. And now cabbage is the thing.
So weird. It's so weird, just so random how these trends happen. Like, I'm not a big cabbage person at all. I can't stand the way it smells when you're cooking it. My mom and dad used to always make, I think it was cabbage.
Corned beef?
And yeah. And maybe sauerkraut along with it, I think. And I mean, the house just smelled horrible.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'm just not into it. But I like a braised cabbage, which is really nice.
How do you make a Reuben? Is that cabbage or sauerkraut?
Sauerkraut.
Okay, because my wife makes that.
Really?
Yeah.
You like sauerkraut. Rob likes sauerkraut.
No, I don't. Only I'll have
Only
it
on
with
a Reuben.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it
weird.
is. But that's like with cabbage. Like Jake doesn't like cabbage, but how do you eat cabbage?
Listen, it's not a hot commodity, but coleslaw, that's right up my alley.
And I do like it. Do you like it with like the thicker cabbage, or does it have to be finely chopped?
It did, like, you know how Zaxby's is like cubed cabbage, like
Yeah.
it's like chopped like that?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
good, but I like mine a little bit thicker
little
and
bit.
sweeter.
Like what? Chick-fil-A has.
No, they used to. They don't have it anymore.
Oh, I thought.
I think that was
Like
really
homemade, like my grandmother makes
Yes.
one, and it's like, it's not diced.
It's kind of shredded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sweeter.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
a
get
good.
It all.
Well, you know, you're in the South, so they're gonna throw some sugar up in there.
Right.
That's so true.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Just want to say a big thank you for your prayers and your generosity. Just wanted to put a date on your calendar, April 23rd. I know that's like a month away or 5 weeks away, but we want to ask for your prayer because it's a big time for us as we raise the operational budget for his radio and begin Friendraiser.
Yeah, Friendraiser is coming up, as Rob said, and that is where we get the opportunity to share Jesus with others, even more so. You know, we share in our circle, whether it's our friend group or, you know, even through our social posts, but this is where you can actually use his radio, God working through you and your gifts to this ministry to reach even more. You know, more than 500,000 people every single week tune in, but also through the My HISRadio app and even online where it's heard around the world at hisradio.com.
And while you're praying about Friendraiser that's coming up and for the operational budget to be taken care of as we get close to April 23rd, 5 weeks from now, would you give a jumpstart gift right now toward that Friendraiser? You can do that by going online to hisradio.com or even giving through the My HISRadio app.